Now I'm taking this opportunity to introduce Amoghavarsha, the filmmaker, photographer, storyteller. He worked with media organizations like National Geographic, BBC in the past. His films won awards such as 67th National Film Awards and Impact Doc Award of Merit. He's the art director of Grammy Award album Divine Tides by Ricky Cage at the 64th and 65th Annual Grammy Awards. He has addressed the United Nations headquarters in 2020 when his movie Wild Karnataka was screened there. Amoghavarsha also appeared on the TED Talk India hosted by Shah Rukh Khan.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and good morning, both. I like to kind of zoom out a little bit. I mean, so many people have spoken wonderfully about all the wonderful initiatives that are happening and, of course, on ground. But I have a question for all of us, really. If you think about why we are all here, right? Like, of course, we want to make this change, but we've all been touched by nature somehow. We've all been touched. I know MR and Nisha all are into hiking. I just heard Aditya say that he saw this plastic on the beach. I heard, Dr. Bernard talk about this book I also read recently, The Ministry of Future. So we've all been somehow touched by this narrative or story for it to have had a deep impact in our consciousness. And we said, hey, let's dedicate some part of our life to, changing this. And I feel that among all the problems we have, the primary problem is the consciousness change. I think if we are really, really super optimistic, the percentage of people in the world who are today working on nature or climate change at best is 1%, right? And imagine the rest, 99% is working towards other things and development and so on. So I feel that if all of us can push this 1% to maybe like 5% or 8%, what kind of world will we have, right? So if everyone was like a citizen warrior, I heard in one of the talks that how do we get this to be a citizen initiative? So I think the primary step in all of this is to get people to love something or care about something. None of us have to be told about how we have to take care of our family members or our homes. It's deeply ingrained. So how do we make that switch? And I think that's part of the work that we do. I'm a product of watching nature-based content on TV. It could be David Attenborough, it could be Nat Geo, it could be BBC. And if you look at our own country, which is about 1.4 to 1.5 billion people, there is no way everyone can go into nature and be touched. So we said, we'll do a hack. We'll take nature to them because everyone's got phones, everyone's got TVs, everyone's got theaters. And we've seen a huge impact on this. So one of the last films we did was with our local beloved superstar called Dr. Puneet Rajkumar, who passed away, unfortunately. And now the film has created so much citizen initiative that when I put on my Google alerts, I get alerts saying Gandha Gudi was our film's name, and said some foundation named by that has gone and stopped tree felling. Some foundation named Gandha Gudi has gone and stopped, done some plastic cleanups. So I think how can we get everyone to take this initiative? And look, if all of us on our planet say, hey, we care about this, I don't think this is going to be a big challenge for us to solve. But if you really think about how can we do that, right? I feel that media plays a really, really powerful, role in it. I also heard somebody speak about the astronauts up in space and what is called the overview effect. There is a very popular image. It's called Earthrise. It was the first image of Earth taken from a place which was not Earth, which was taken from Moon. And apparently that has supposed to have kickstarted the whole environment movement. And I think when emotions hit us, we really, really put all of these at a very different higher bar than consuming facts and things like that. I recently read a small little article that said the biggest problem with global warming is the word global warming, because warm is a nice feeling. So people think, oh, global warming. Subconsciously, we think it's nice. Somebody said, what if we recoined it and called it global cancer? Would we get more attention, right? So I think we have to do what brands do, which is grab everyone's attention and say, hey, can we focus on this? And I'm very inspired by, of course, the Indian diaspora, which has put India on the world map for everything. Like every time we speak about technology, space, biotech, we say that India is in the forefront. And Recently, I was at an event with our Minister Piyush Goyal, and he said, and the conversation was, can India be the world leader, at least in 10 categories? And Mr. Sajjan Jindal said, I will take leadership and ownership for steel. And we said, given India has one of the highest biodiversities anywhere on the planet, with the population of 1.5 billion people, we have tigers and elephants still roaming free. The largest number of tigers anywhere in the world is in India with this kind of population. So we have set out to achieve this, which is put India as a world leader, to own the story and narrative of how we can do conservation, biodiversity, and climate change, because we have done this for thousands of years and we still have wildlife to show for. I'm sorry to say Europe hasn't got much to say because they've pretty much wiped out most of it. So I think it's high time that we start leading this conversation across the world like we do on so many things. And I welcome all of you to come and help us do this and put nature, conservation, and climate change in the forefront of every conversation. So with this, I'd like to kind of end my talk and take a few questions if there are.
Thank you, Amog. Thank you for this fantastic movie that you have displayed and shared with us. And we are so fortunate to have your movie as the final closing act, and which will make people think and get inspired, as rightly you put it across, to keep biodiversity, culture, environment, and our, ecology on the forefront rather than anything else. Thank you so much, Amog. So we end the
There's a
session.
question for Amog.
Yeah, you have? Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Shrenya, please go.
All right.
Shreya?
Yeah, I'll just. Yes, so there is a question, Anu, for you. How do storytelling and creative media shift public consciousness around climate urgency?
So I think the like recent case study would be the film that we just showed. When I took Philip out into the Western Ghats, he was just blown. He said, I can't believe places like this exist in India still, right? And he said, what can we do as Australia and India together? And that was the conversation I had at his residence day before yesterday, showcasing this film. And we said, what can India and Australia do together as bilateral talks to forward these initiatives and get this to be at the forefront, along with, of course, cricket and films and such things. So each film, if you really think about it, has spawned massive citizen movements and consciousness change. And not just my belief, we have enough data to kind of back this, is that every great movement in history has been spawned off by a great story. It could, I'm not just talking about nature, but any of these things, right? Like every time we see a great initiative happening somewhere else in the world, we are all touched by it because of the story. So I think storytelling forms the backbone of how humanity will progress. It is what stories we tell today which will dictate the future of tomorrow. And I keep saying this very often, right? If we ask all our politicians, all of us as our politicians, about building bigger roads, 100% will have bigger roads. But if all of us said, can we have more trees? We'll have more trees. And I think that's the role that stories and media do in shifting public needs and demands, really.
We have one more question. So which emerging technologies are you most excited about for future wildlife filmmaking?
I think there's just so many different tools right now, VR and immersive technology, because you cannot take everyone into the ocean. You can't take everyone into a forest, but you can immerse them in this. And once they are immersed, they'll be touched. So I keep saying that conservation and nature are like a bit of bitter pills because they're very serious in nature. If we can sugarcoat it and make it like candies and pretty much carpet bomb the entire world with this beautiful consciousness change, using every technology from reels to VR to AR, like I keep saying 20 million people watched a pav bhaji making video, right? What if 20 million people saw a video about planting a tree? And all of us, if we can get every one of us to get our friends to at least plant one sapling each, we would have done some bit of work. So I think using every possible technology from VR to social media to kind of take this into everyone's heart is going to be very easy going forward.
So there are more questions coming. We'll take one more, I guess. So how do you see companies contributing to biodiversity, as many may be in tier 1 cities?
I think Aditya's company is a great example. I use his products, and I just reviewed some, I think, in the morning. So, and recently somebody asked me to be on a panel where environment and climate was a vertical. And I said, it cannot be a vertical. It has to be horizontal, because the fundamental premise is save the earth. It makes good business sense. We need to have the earth, its consumers, the people to sell something or to buy something. So the companies at the top tier, if you look at Apple, focus on the long tail of humanity, right? They say, hey, we need a healthy global population overall to even buy our products. So Apple did the biggest campaign they did last year when they launched something was with Oprah about how they're environmentally super conscious and all their products are going, carbon neutral and such things. So I think if every company says we will do good by environment, along with, of course, things like labor and all of those things, it really helps the business case also long term, right? And because I think the more we tend towards this, it also optimizes cost long term, right? So I think, like, if Amazon reduces their packaging by 3 to 4%, or any of these companies which are into packaging, can you imagine the global impact of that? So I think nobody has to do something outside their realm and go, hey, we'll go plant trees. That's not what companies need to do. Companies have to see how can we enable this for the future in our own category, in our own way. And I think there are wonderful companies that are doing this already, and I think more will follow.
So just for us, like, did you have any unexpected encounters with wildlife while filming? Like something that you would like to share, something that scared you? Because I saw snakes and I'm scared of snakes.
Quite a few, but as you saw in the film, the biggest pain in the butt, so to speak, in the forests are leeches and ticks. I remember I took Ricky once on his first wildlife trip into one of the places in Western Ghats, and he got tick bites. And I got complaints from his home that he was scratching the whole week. And I've scratched for months. I don't think I should go beyond this.
Uh,
Yeah.
any more questions? Anybody from the team?
So we just want to know if Amog will start some treks for people who are happy to be associated with the environment.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And I think it's kind of my retirement plan. I used to do photography expeditions and things like that in the past, but now I've said that when I'm going to retire, I'm going to take all my friends hiking and into the most exclusive wildlife experiences every year, 3 or 4 times. And, everyone asks me this, right? Like, what is the reason you do this, right? Is it change? Is it impact? And I thought about it. And for me, I think it's just to see people happy when they're in nature. I went to a screening of our film in one of the theaters where there were local school children, and they were all whistling at hornbills and tigers. So I think for me, it's just the amount of joy that we can create in people just taking nature to me in the amount of sleaze and crime and gore that exists on TV. So, I mean, my primary reason why I do this is to get people to just put that big smile on their face when they're in nature. And I'll continue to do that, of course, with treks, Nisha, and also with films.
Thank you, Amog. I think we are running out of time and we've gone beyond our scheduled time. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your help and support. And we look forward to engaging with you further. Thank you, all the participants out here waiting patiently, listening to all our speakers speak. I hope we are inspired by this, and let this just not be a normal discussion. Let us all look towards engaging, collaborating, and seeing how we can take this inspiring decision of being a part of nature and conserving our beautiful planet ahead. Let all these discussions move towards actions, and thank you for participating. Have a lovely day.